Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Thank you to the Insurance Circle agency, myinsuranccircle.com, Jackson, Battle Creek, personal, home, business, auto, motorcycle, any insurance, the Circle will take care of you. So thank you to the Insurance Circle agency. Tuesday night, soccer district semifinals happened at Jackson Christian. That was the only local school that hosted any playoffs here. Jackson Christian beat Lumen Christi 4-1, and our own Noah Baker was there to cover the action for us on Tuesday night. So let's take a look at highlights, and when we come back from the break after highlights, we're going to get to our game picks. It's still close. I'm just barely above Adam in the standings still, so we'll see how our picks turn out after the soccer highlights. Let's take a look. Welcome back here on JTV. Thanks for watching on TV, watching online, listening wherever you get your podcasts. I'm David, that's Adam. It is 85 for me, 82 for Adam in the picks.
So close. It's so close.
You only gained 1 on me last week. And that was mostly because
I had Grass Lake.
Well, you were leading over me by a lot in the... Not a lot, I should say, but a few in the high school picks.
Hey!
And then I gained some ground towards the college and NFL picks.
I shouldn't have taken those chances.
Yeah, you shouldn't have taken the Jets.
I know. I don't know what I was doing.
But let's get to it. Our game picks, high school football, week 8. 8-man action. Lenawee Christian taking on the Yellow Jackets from Concord. Lenawee Christian has struggled. They're under 500 this year. And Concord has struggled too. Concord needs to win these next 2 weeks to have a chance to make the playoffs. Remember, because it's 8-man, there's not as many schools, so only 16 in 8-man get in the playoffs, not 32. So, but Concord has really struggled, though, on offense. I mean, you still look at their numbers. They're putting up, 30, 40, 50 points, but they're still losing. It's their defense, but same thing with Lenawee Christian. So I will take the Cougars from Lenawee Christian. I'm part Adrian, too.
Right,
So
sure.
I got to go with Lenawee Christian.
It's very close for me, but this would be like a pick'em in my eyes. But
It is.
I'll
I
take
think.
Lenawee Christian. I feel like Concord's kind of been struggling this year, and I feel like they've been giving up a lot of points. I don't think that stops against Lenawee Christian.
Now they've been putting up a lot of points, but I mentioned their defense has
exactly.
made the headline for allowing the points too.
Right.
So Big 8 conference action. Springport needs Union City to lose this week. Otherwise, Union City wins because they just beat Springport. They'll win their 3rd straight conference championship. But Bronson struggled. Give me Springport and the Spartans over the Vikings of Bronson.
It will be the only Spartans that I will take this week. But I will take Springport here. I'm gonna roll with the Port. Yeah, I just think they're the better team. I mean, when you look at these two teams, they're definitely the better one.
Western, the Panthers are number 10 in Division 4.
How about it?
I know, and they'll take on the Vikings of Hazlitt, who plays the Vikings of Jackson next week. So Hazlitt's coming down to Jackson / Parma back-to-back weeks to end the year. And Hazlitt is a decent team, and I think that'll be a great game next week with them against Jackson High. But I think ever since Western lost those 2 games, besides those 2 games, they've been dominant all year, so give me the Panthers.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to take any Vikings this week either. So
I have one Viking team I will take.
It better not be the Vikings team I'm thinking about. I hope that means you're taking Jackson. I'll take Western here. I think they're due for a bounce back, and they'll get the dub.
NFL.
No, why?
The Northwest, the Mounties taking on Penfield from Battle Creek. Penfield is at the bottom of their conference. This big I-8 game. Northwest needs this win to keep their momentum rolling to the end of the year. Give me the Mounties.
Oh, I thought I was going to be the one. Oh, man, I was going to take the Mounties. I didn't think you were, and I thought that'd be a good way to make up ground.
The way I look at it is we've talked about it a couple times so far in our picks segment this year. This is one of those games where both teams coming in know they can win this game because both teams have struggled this year. So it's just going to come down to, who's just – I know normally in football you need to score more points than the other team to win, but it's just who's going to have more consistency and put up decent points. So I'll take Northwest.
Yeah, same here. I anybody can win this game. It's like the Concord Lenawee Christian game earlier where I'm like it's pretty close to a pick 'em, but I got to take Northwest. I got to take the home team here.
Jackson High, after starting 4-0 this year, they are now 3-3. And they will take on the number 7 team in Division 6, Marine City. at Marine City.
It's a
And
tough game.
I forget where the Marine City is even at. We talked about it on Monday's show, and I clearly didn't do my research. But Jackson struggled, and we know they're an exceptional team. That's what we've said the whole year.
It's a 2-hour drive from Jackson.
Where's it at?
It's that's a great question. St. Clair County,
Okay,
west bank of St. Clair River.
Where's St. Clair at again? Clearly, I don't pay attention to maps or geography or anything.
It's a little like it's northeast of Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Like in the thumb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Marine City.
Does that change your pick at all?
No.
Aw,
No.
darn it.
I am gonna take Marine City at home. They've been a hell of a team all year, and Marine City's number 7 in D6, and because they're gonna likely be on the other side of the playoff bracket from Lumen, if Marine City goes on a little playoff run, they could be back facing another local team at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So give me Marine City.
I hate picking against Jackson, but based on what I saw last week and the caliber of team that they're going to be facing this week, I have to take Marine City here. And
because
the travel,
Chelsea, Chelsea's number 4 in Division 4,
Right.
and now they're playing number 7 in D6. So
Right.
it just doesn't get any easier for their schedule. And Hazlitt right now is in the playoffs too. They're just over 500, so
Wow.
that's not an easy game either.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll take Marine City. I think the travel will probably do Jackson in. I think it's a 2-hour drive. That's not easy.
get into the Cascades, the West. Vandercook hosting Addison. Addison is 28th right now in D8, so they need to get this win here the last 2 weeks.
Big game for them.
It
It's
is.
a big game against the Cook.
And I'll be honest, coming into the season, the way Addison started, I didn't think this would be a meaningful game, for Addison, but it is. And I'm gonna take Addison.
Yeah, they got them. You can argue they got more to play for here. So I'll take Addison as well. They are better, I think, than their record suggests right now. But I think they're definitely better than Vandercook. So no offense to the Cook.
And I think I do agree. I think they're better than their record, and I think one of their losses for Addison, I would pretty much just call a wash. Don't look back on it. That was the game where they lost to Columbia. I was there 38-8.
Right.
Because coming into that, Columbia was 0-3 or 4, whatever it was, or 1 and something. And, nobody expected Columbia to bounce back those few weeks and go on a little run again. And they really shocked everybody there by just completely blowing Addison out the doors. But I do think Addison gets this win and keeps their playoff hopes alive. So by them winning this week against Vandercook, it'll come down to basically a win and in next week. And because I think Marine City will beat Jay High, next week for Jay High will be a win and in too. So staying in the Cascades West, Homer taking on Jonesville. Jonesville is 31st out of 32 in Division 7.
They're just in there right now.
So even though Jonesville started out not good, because they've bounced back too later in their schedule, like Columbia has kind of, Jonesville needs to win and stay in too. And they're a much better team than Homer, so I'll take the Comets.
Yeah, Hanover's on a roll right now. So I don't know.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, Jonesville. I don't know why I said Hanover. I was getting to the next thing. No,
Well, both
Jonesville,
Comets teams are doing good.
Right, and that's funny that they're both Comets. But no, Jonesville, I've been taking Jonesville pretty consistently this season, and I'm going to take them again here. I think that they're on a roll. They're going to keep going, and same thing with Hanover to get into the next game. I'm taking Hanover for the same reason. I might have taken Columbia Central last week, but that was against a Homer team that they really should have beaten, and they did. Hanover Horton's got to pick up the win this week.
Sorry, I think I agree with you. I'll take Hanover.
Yeah.
But Columbia should have beat. I know they're looking here. They should have beat Homer by a lot more last week.
Yeah, that's true.
It was, I don't remember the exact final score. I think it was 32 2-16.
I didn't realize it was
a
close.
2-possession game. I'll have to look at it during the break, just to make sure here. But it was only like 2 possessions, barely 3, and that's if there's any Homer fans watching, they've struggled this year. They're not a very good team. Columbia should have won by a lot more. So if that says anything, how they played last week against a bad Homer team, coming in to the number 8 team in the state, Hanover, this week.
And it's Hanover at home. That's tough. That's a tough game. That's a tough game for them. So, yeah.
Right.
So you got Hanover as well?
Yeah, Hanover's averaging 43 points a game this year, and guess how many points per game their defense has allowed on average this year?
How much?
8.
Whoa!
8.
Good gracious.
So, because they shut out Addison last week 46-0. When we were there against the Cook, it was 51-0. And they beat Homer 63-0. So they've had 3 or 4 shutouts this year. And I think Columbia can keep it somewhat close. Hanover will be too much, obviously, so I think Hanover will win. But I think Columbia can keep it somewhat close to start off. They have to stay disciplined. They can't get too excited early on. They make a play, something happen, because Hanover doesn't rock like that. They are heads down, right up, start to finish. Same thing like a Lumen. And Columbia has to stay disciplined. They can't turn it over because Columbia's had turnover problems early on in the year when they started 0-3, and they even fumbled once against Addison too.
Yeah.
So they have to stay disciplined, don't turn it over, and play smart. And I think they can hang with Hanover for maybe the first half.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think this is a potential running clock? I would love to hear your opinion on that because it's possible. I think Hanover has been so dominant. Their defense has been so good. It is possible.
You know what? I'm going to say yes.
Oh.
I think Hanover, other than Leslie, obviously Lumen's in their own tier. So Lumen's, of course, the best team in the area. But besides Lumen, Hanover, Leslie, close second or tied for the best team in the area other than Lumen. And Hanover has dominated teams like we haven't seen in a few years. I know Lumen Christie, they always hustle teams and win and go undefeated or only lose one game a year, but they don't beat teams, like 63-0 or 51-0 or 46-0 like Hanover does. I mean, they crush teams.
Yeah, and even if they do, we haven't seen it outside of Lumen Christie, really in this area that much.
Right.
So that's what makes this run even more impressive. But I think Hanover has a shot at making this running clock. I think they could blank them, which would be impressive.
This will be a historic night for Hanover, too. You know why?
No.
Because 2 things. One, if they beat Columbia, they will win the Cascades West outright and officially be in the conference championship next Saturday. And if they win, they'll be tied for the school record for most wins.
Whoa!
With they went 8-2 back in 2014.
Wow, we're embarking on
and if they win, they'll go 8-0 and tie it.
Wow, I like it. So, I like these records being set.
They could beat a conference rival, get into the conference championship, and set a school record in the same night.
What a big game.
And it's a big game for Columbia. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they still, just like, Grass Lake, they still want to create disruption for the other teams.
For sure.
So I'll take Hanover. Cascades East, speaking of Grass Lake, do or die now.
Yep.
You thought it was do or die last week when they beat Manchester. It was, but this is an even bigger game. I just said Hanover and Leslie, besides Lumen, are the 2 best teams in the area. Grass Lake still has to win these next 2 weeks to get in.
Well, are you going to actually take Grass Lake?
And they play at Leslie. No, I will not take Grass Lake.
Oh, come on. Fake fan. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm still an alumni, so I'm a solidified fan.
But fake fan can't take them 2 weeks in a row.
Well, I didn't think they were going to beat Manchester. I'll be honest. I didn't expect that out of Grass Lake to score 54 on them. Now, they gave up 46 on defense.
Yeah.
But Leslie is even better than Manchester. can Grass Lake pass another test, and can they play? They have to play as well on offense as they did last week against Leslie this week. If they come back down to like how they played against Napoleon, not a chance they beat Leslie. And Leslie's got the best quarterback in the area, in Joel Cranmore, who is still going to be playing for 2 more years after this. Wow. So I'm going to take Leslie. And because Leslie has already solidified their spot in the conference championship, and like they don't need to really play any. Now obviously they're going to play all their big stars, but they don't have to this week.
Right.
This game doesn't mean anything for Leslie. It really doesn't.
Sounds like you're trying to make me take Grass Lake is what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes and no. I mean, I want to be leading the picks.
You know, you could take Grass Lake here.
I'm taking Leslie.
Dang it. All right. I was going to take Leslie anyways. That's why I was trying to get you to take Grass Lake, but fake fan. But I'll take Leslie. Their passing attack is just incredible. I think that team as a whole is very, very good. And when you look at a lot of these past Grass Lake games, like last week, it was a shootout. That's a close game. That's a high-scoring game. If they do that against Leslie, they are in deep trouble. So I'm going to take Leslie. They have the better attack, both on offense and defense.
Yeah, if it becomes a high-scoring shootout, you're not beating Leslie in a high-scoring shootout.
It's one of the few teams in this area that I would say that about, but it's 100% true for them.
Right. And even same thing with Hanover, because they're a wing team, but they're balanced. They have the quarterback who can throw. We saw that against Vandercook. So Leslie's one of only 2 teams, I think, that you're not beating in that situation. So I'm going to take Leslie. And the team that lost to Grass Lake last week, Manchester, take it on Michigan Center. Michigan Center, because they lost last week to Napoleon, they have to win out now too and win the next 2 weeks to get in. But they are not beating the Dutch. I am taking Manchester.
We have not differed on a single pick so far.
These are pretty easy picks.
I know. I have Manchester circled here, so I have to take Manchester. It's who I was originally going to take. But second week in a row where like I really want to take Michigan Center, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to beat the. No, I just don't think they can get Manchester. I'll take Manchester here. It's close for me. I would love to take Michigan Center, but I think Manchester, especially off of suffering that loss, they got to come back with a win, and I believe they do here.
Napoleon taking on East Jackson at the Dome. Give me the Pirates.
Yeah, that's with their offensive line. And I've talked about, like, to me, maybe other than Lumen Christi, it's the most impressive offensive line in the area. So I'm going to take Napoleon here. I think it's just going to be way too much for East Jackson.
And our last high school game, the game you'll see live Friday night on JTV, myself, Josh Burgett, POD, and Max Fritz. The whole gang is back together.
We're all
week.
back.
They're taking on Gaylord, Lumen Christi, number 2 in Division 6. It's crazy how Lumen opted up and chose to play in D6 this year.
Pretty cool.
And they're still number 2 in Division 6.
Yeah, crazy.
I wonder if the more divisions they went up, how it would stack up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how far they could go.
Yeah, let's say, what if they were to play in Division
D1,
one
baby?
1 or 2?
D1.
I don't know how they would fare against
It'd be
that.
interesting to see. Those teams are good, man.
Some of those big Detroit schools, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or like the Big Reds or any of the Grand Rapids schools.
They're big.
That's tough teams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Gaylord coming in, of course. Last year, the only team that beat Lumen was this team, Gaylord. But this year, Gaylord has struggled. They're 38th in D3. Of course, 32 get in. So Gaylord needs to come in here, upset Lumen, and win these next 2 weeks to get in the playoffs at 4-5.
It's not happening.
I know. But like we just talked about, though, on Monday's show, it's stupid how they do the points now. Like,
yeah, I'd rather
a bad Gaylord team, even if they were to magically beat Lumen and win the next 2 weeks and get in at 4-5, that's
you're a 4-5 team in the playoffs.
You're a mediocre 4.
Kind of,
it's not like you're a good team that had some close losses.
But if you were to beat Lumen Christi, you can't say that they're not good. You know what I mean? Like, you beat Lumen Christi, and that's a huge feather in your cap.
Right. That's a new saying.
No, that's a famous saying. Back me up, everybody at home. A feather in your cap. That's a.
Gaylord is 2-5, but get this: they started 0-4. In their first 4 games, they lost 6-0, 16-0, 30-0, 20-0, lost 22-14.
Oh,
and they've won the last 2 weeks. The last 3 games, so they've turned it around and averaged 28 points a game, and have won the last 2 weeks.
They might have turned it around, but here's my question for you: does Lumen Christie blank them this week with that start and with how
running
good Lumen
clock?
Is? You're saying running clock.
Running clock over the Blue Devils of Gaylord.
But do you think Gaylord scores a point? They might, with that start of the season, and they're facing Lumen, and Lumen has a chip on their shoulder knowing that they suffered this loss.
No.
Okay.
Blank.
Okay. You think it is going to be? You think they're
blank running clock?
Woo! Okay, he said it.
So give me the Titans.
Gaylord. I hope you heard that. Come out and play. Yeah, same thing. I got Lumen Christie. I don't.
Do
I don't
people
think
in Gaylord watch the show?
Probably not, but share it. Columbia Central. Share it with Gaylord.
Yeah, if you know anybody there.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
But we'll have that live on JTV. Even though I don't think it'll be a very exciting game, I'll come out and say it.
It's Lumen football. It's going to be fun to watch that team play.
Always great being at Lumen.
Yeah, the atmosphere is great. And
it is.
Yeah.
So give me the Titans. College football, number 7, the Tide, who, even though they won last week, they still shouldn't be number 7 because the way they've played the last 2 weeks. That's just me. They're playing at Neyland, number 11, Tennessee. Tennessee, the home of Morgan Wallen, new song out on Friday.
This is what you were going to bring up?
No, not just that. No,
I thought that's what you were holding
there's
back.
more to it. Although there is a new song Friday, and it's going to be really good. But anyways, Morgan Wallen, there was I have the story on my phone because I didn't write this down, but there was a Fox Sports radio host in Tennessee who blamed Morgan Wallen for Tennessee's loss to Florida last week.
Oh, that's weird.
He blamed Morgan Wallen for it. He said, shout out the original tweet because Tennessee linebacker Keenan Ply and Florida quarterback Graham Mertz both had season-ending injuries in that game. Florida's starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And the Fox Sports radio host said, shout out at Morgan Wallen. His Neyland Stadium concerts only cost 2 players their final season of college eligibility due to knee injuries, thanks to the new turf, because after Morgan Wallen's concert, the sod had to be replaced on the field afterwards.
Can I get on my soapbox for a quick second?
Sure.
I hate, and I know that's a strong word, but I hate when people get on, like, that is not his fault. But you are tying his name, and I'm not a Morgan Wallen fan at all. I don't listen to his music, but I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't listen to his music. But you're blaming him for this. You're putting that on him when
he's just. I can't call him what I want to because we're on TV, but you know where I'm.
Yeah, well, it's just I don't agree with that sentiment just because it's the school. You know, the schools who booked that show. It wasn't Morgan Wallen that said. That was just like, I'm not going to go on tour unless I can play at Tennessee, which sure, that's an awesome show and that's really cool. But it's not like he intentionally went out there and been like, man, I definitely want to have a show here and I want to, maybe get the other team injured. That's just the way it makes it sound. I just think that's ridiculous. Anytime we have concert, it's the venue. Blame the venue. Don't blame the artist that performed there. I don't know. To me, it's just disingenuous.
No, I totally agree. And I think every single person that called him out in that comment section, which those comments were great.
It was Twitter, so it was probably bad.
Instagram.
Oh, even
but the
worse.
original, it was originally a tweet though.
Oh, okay.
So, Twitter would have been worse if it was Reddit. It's lucky it was Twitter, maybe. But
I bet you there's something on Reddit somewhere talking about
it. But anyways, why he has nothing, nothing to do with it.
He has nothing really to do with it.
That's like if if Gaylord were to come in and beat Lumen and like all of us, our crew was on the field before the game and we did something to the turf and Gaylord fans were to blame our local media for that.
Well, I
like
mean,
that's just idiotic to me.
you know, and I get it. Like in the past, they've blamed. Like I remember a few years ago, there's supposed to be an NFL game in. It wasn't. I think it was in Mexico, somewhere in Mexico.
Mexico and the pollution.
Well, no, I remember like it was like a Shakira concert. This was if you remember,
Oh,
this
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
Kansas City versus LA Rams from a few years ago, and
The
that
high-
ended up being
the
one of the
high
greatest
scoring,
games ever. Yeah, and the field got torn up for a Shakira concert, so then they moved it to LA, and then that's when that game happened in LA. But again, like you shouldn't blame the artist. You should blame the venue for booking a concert or whatever so close to a big game.
And plus, he's complaining about replacing the sod. If they didn't replace it, they would have used the sod that was, torn up.
That's a whole nother can of worms is getting into this guy. But yeah, it's a weird thing. But back to the game picks, because we do need to address Tennessee, Alabama.
First,
yeah,
thanks for the soapbox, because I totally 100% agree with you.
Okay, good.
That guy's an idiot.
I just didn't want to go.
And I know he's not watching. Maybe he is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I doubt it.
But give me the Tide.
Oh, okay.
I think it honestly was a pick 'em for
so
me.
close.
I almost thought about taking Tennessee because remember last time they played at Tennessee,
Yeah, I know.
the
I
goalpost
know.
ended up in the river like Vanderbilt.
Oh man, I want to take.
Do they do it again?
I know that's my thing, but I think it's going to be Alabama's game to lose. I'll take Alabama. I hate to be the same again because we matched on all these other ones, but screw it. Rocky Top. I'm gonna take Tennessee.
Okay.
I'll take Tennessee here. Both are coming off of games where you're wondering, do they deserve to hang here? I think Tennessee at home is just going to have a slight edge over Alabama. I really don't think Alabama's as good as maybe they suggest. So I'll take Tennessee here. Finally, we differ in something.
Number 24, Michigan at Illinois, back off the bye week. Definitely Michigan needed it, clearly.
Yeah.
I almost thought about picking Illinois, but I can't do that.
You could still pick Illinois right now.
Michigan needs to win this game because if Illinois starts playing better after this game, it'll look even better on their resume when it's all done at the end of the year. We beat the number whatever team.
Right.
So, and I was watching the college football ranking show yesterday on ESPN, and they were asking somebody from the committee, how does Ohio State's loss hurt them to Oregon as far as the standings? And they said they looked at it as it didn't really hurt them much, because as long as Michigan and Penn State still remain as good as they are, then they will keep them in. Otherwise, at the end of the year, if Michigan is unranked and Illinois is unranked and Penn State drops, the resume isn't going to look as good.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But give me the blue, of course.
Yeah, they need the win bad. So I'm going to give the edge slightly to Michigan here. I think it'll be a very close game. I don't think it will be that high scoring. I think it'll be pretty close.
One of those low-scoring battles.
So I think it will be a classic Big Ten matchup. But I'll take Michigan. They cannot
and Tuttle,
drop out of
Tuttle at quarterback.
Yeah. Yep.
So I really like him, by the way, from the Washington game. I thought when Tuttle came in, he totally changed how that offense looks, because he can actually throw. Unlike Alex Orji, he can't throw. Tuttle can run too. He just brings a different energy. I just felt something change when he came on the field. So I'll take Michigan. You taking Michigan?
I'll take Michigan as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 5, Georgia at Texas. Quinn Ewers is back. They're going to stay number 1. Georgia will end up with 2 losses now. Give me Texas.
This is the win that Georgia needs. This is going to be the win that
You're
Georgia needs.
taking the Bulldogs?
I'm taking the Bulldogs here in the upset at Texas. I still think they're the best team in the SEC. I still think they are bound to win the SEC championship again. So I will take Georgia in this game, especially in a year. Yeah, Texas is really good, and it's going to be a very close game. But I think
Georgia, their odds though winning the SEC title
I think they're third right now.
Well, there's Alabama, there's Texas, there's LSU.
They're higher than those teams though. According to Vegas. Now, Vegas is one thing, and maybe
Right.
experts are another thing.
But just to me, on paper, Texas, Alabama, those are the top two in the SEC.
See, I don't
and
think
then
Alabama's
after
that good.
Well,
That's why I have Tennessee beat
I think if Tennessee beats Alabama, I'll get on
You'd
board
put
with
Georgia
that.
2?
Right.
Even now, would you take Georgia 2 at a loss here? Because now only Georgia's losses have been against Alabama and Texas.
Would I still put Georgia in?
Would you still put Georgia in the SEC title game if those were their 2 losses all year?
No.
Okay.
No.
You'd be more
I don't think
likely
it'd be
to take...
possible anyways by the standings. So
Yeah, I guess that would depend. I guess there'd be if there's another SEC team that only had 1 loss, I guess, because it's going to be Texas.
they
if
would
Texas
need Texas or Bama to get upset again.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, and don't
arguing,
forget Ole Miss and LSU are up there too in
Yeah.
the standings, and A&M.
I'm just arguing.
And Missouri.
Didn't Ole Miss lose last week?
Right, but there's
Right.
still only 1 loss.
But like my argument is like, you look at the end of the year. Say Bama loses to Tennessee, let's just say, and then win out, and say Georgia loses to Texas but wins out. You're looking at Georgia's losses being Alabama and Texas, and then you're looking at Alabama's losses being Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Like, to me, there's something there where it tells me you got to leapfrog them. Now, of course, I'm biased towards Georgia because I think they're going to win, and I really hope so. But I don't know if you can put another team above them with the quality of losses, especially Alabama.
I think somehow, whether Alabama gets in the playoff or not, even if they do, that Vanderbilt loss will impact them in some way because, like you said, if the way it plays out, like you just mentioned, Georgia's 2 losses or those 2 teams in Alabama, they will get leapfrogged by 2 or 3 other teams just because Vanderbilt screwed it all up for them.
Yeah. And just to confirm, I just looked at the what they're thinking for the SEC, and right now Texas is
the odds.
Yeah, right now Texas is the favorite, and then it's Georgia and Alabama are extremely close to each other, but Georgia is leading slightly on Alabama for number 2.
I wonder who's under those 2 teams.
Texas A&M, and then LSU, and then it's everybody else way further below in terms of odds. So you're really only think Texas A&M, LSU, Bama, Texas, and Georgia. Out of those teams, 2 got to make it, is what they're saying. I mean, we could be looking at the SEC championship game this week. That's what's interesting. Like this Georgia Texas game, we could see again, especially if Texas loses. Their only loss to the year was to Georgia, and then Georgia's only loss is to Alabama. Alabama gets another loss here, so they kind of drop out. You could see this matchup again.
And if Alabama loses to Tennessee, that's 2 losses because one of them's to Vanderbilt. If Alabama loses, they're already at number 7. I don't think they get in the playoff.
I think they're gone.
I think they're gone. They're gone.
They're playing. They have that mindset this week that if they lose, they're out.
Do you think Georgia still gets in even if they lose to Texas?
I do, because it's Texas. If we're not talking about the number 1 team in the country, it'd be different. But I think it's
and
the
because
number 1
Georgia, I still think even if they lose to Texas, they're still one of the 12 best teams in the country.
And this is what we developed, not what we, but this is why they developed the playoff structure, is to still have a team like Georgia sneak in to prove, are they the best team? Did they just have like a bad week here and there? So very interesting. But yeah, we might be seeing a first round. If they lose, we might be seeing an interesting first round matchup for Georgia in the playoffs.
Big Ten, Iowa taking on at Michigan State. Michigan State also coming off their bye week. Give me Kirk Ferentz, who just got his 200th win at Iowa last week. Give me Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes. Big, my kind of offense. Run the football over the Spartans.
I know that's your kind of offense, but oh man, yeah. I'll take Iowa. I think they're going to control the clock, even being on the road. I think they'll control the clock. They'll run the ball well, play good defense.
They're
all the stuff
not
that
a
you
flashy
like to do.
team.
Yeah.
They don't have to score 40 to win. Their defense is exceptional too. So, in the NFL, Thursday night, Broncos taking on the Saints. But the Saints are a little banged up. No Derek Carr. It's going to be Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, but he looked good. He looked good.
Not against the Buccaneers.
He had pretty okay numbers.
Okay, but their defense still gave up 51 points.
You can't do that.
So give me Bo Nix and Sean Payton and the Broncos.
If you're telling me, if I don't look at the teams and you're just telling me which quarterback do I trust more, or I trust Bo Nix more, I think this is like one of those crappy Thursday games, dude, that we got a lot last year. I'll take Denver. Begrudgingly, I'll take Denver. I think both teams are not that great.
Seattle taking on Atlanta. Give me Kirk and the Falcons. Seattle started 3-0, and now they are going to be 3-4 after they lose to Atlanta.
Yeah, I have Atlanta here as well. I think Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, very interesting on that team. I think the receivers are starting to wake up a little bit. So yeah, I think Atlanta wins this game. Another very close game, but Falcons will take it.
This is a big game for Green.
I know I differ with you on this game.
Which is, I know a lot of people would take Houston. It's two great teams.
It is.
It's going to be a close battle at Lambeau. Stroud and the Texans taking on Jordan Love, who looks like old Jordan Love again after last week. Of course, you know who I'm taking.
Yeah, I think this will be one of those shootouts which will end on whoever has the ball at the end will win. I can see a last-second drive coming down for either of these quarterbacks. So, but
the Packers have a kicker now. They signed a kicker.
Did they? Who do you know?
The Packers picked up McManus.
Oh, I remember McManus. Yeah, he was pretty
from
good.
Denver,
yeah,
Jacksonville.
I remember him.
He was a free agent. They worked him out yesterday, signed him right away.
Because they were probably like, we need to do something.
Yeah, they already released Nervous and that other rookie.
Oh, I figured they would have had to have released one of them. Yeah, I'll take the Texans here. I think the combination of that defense needs to keep playing a little bit better, but that offense is so awesome. And between Stroud and all of his receivers, Diggs, all those guys, it's a really good team. I think this is a really important game for the Packers, but I do think they lose.
NFC North, the Lions taking on the Vikings. Vikings coming off the bye week, and they're still 5-0. This is going to be a really good game, I think. This is two very good offenses against each other. I didn't think I'd be saying that about Minnesota coming into this year, but they've shocked everybody. I don't know. It's just also losing a big piece on the defense.
You know who you want to pick. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. I'm taking the Vikings.
Perfect. I will gain ground with picks with this one specifically. Lions will win this game. I don't know. I think Vegas has it like at 3 points, but I think that's crazy. I think the Lions are definitely the favorites in this game. If you looked at their teams on paper, definitely at the beginning of the season, if you looked at it.
It's Minnesota -3.
No, yeah. It's like or like 2.5 or something like that. Like it's super close, which is crazy because I would have picked the Lions as the favorites in this matchup. Again, looking on paper, even without Hutchinson, Lions are the better team. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun, nerve-wracking game for Lions fans, but I'll take, of course, the pride.
Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs taking on the Niners. Give me KC.
KC will remain undefeated, but I think the 49ers will play a lot better than we've seen previous weeks. They have a lot to play for in this game. They really, it's just been Kansas City has just been ruining their plans of winning a Super Bowl, man. It's just always Kansas City stands in their way. This will be a great game. Kansas City will win. 49ers will play a lot better, but KC's just got everything else on their team, man.
For some reason, the Jets are back on primetime again this week.
Man, they love them on primetime with Devontae.
Even though they suck.
Hey, they got Devontae.
They haven't been playing good on offense anyways. Yeah, Rodgers hasn't.
Right.
So.
Well, now you got Devontae out there.
The Jets with Devontae, I don't know if he's going to play this Sunday or not. I would think.
Yeah, I would think you at least throw him out there.
Playing at Pittsburgh. I'll take my guy Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. It's going to hurt seeing those two on the same field with each other again.
We're in green, just not the right
in
green.
Green Bay green.
Yeah.
So, but I will take the Jets.
I think the Steelers don't look great. That being said, I'll take the Steelers because they're looking a little bit better than the Jets. Yeah. I think it will come down to defense in that game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game like we've seen a lot of Jets games. A lot of field goals will be kicked in this game.
7 for each team.
Hey, in one of my fantasy leagues, Boswell is my kicker, and he is just destroying for the Steelers. God. So he looks great. So I'll take the Steelers. This will probably be like a 3-point game. Kick at the end of the game is my prediction.
2 Monday night games again. One of them is really bad, and one of them is going to be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, I will take them and my fantasy quarterback, Lamar, over Baker.
I will take the Ravens and my fantasy running back, Derrick Henry, over the Bucs. I think the Bucs are good. They've stumbled a little bit along the way. But the Ravens, I think, have proved with a slow start that they had, they're proving that they are the best team in the AFC, potentially even the best team in the NFL. Obviously, you have Kansas City still there and Detroit still there. If they solve a little bit of their issues.
Whoa, did you just put Detroit in the same discussion as Kansas City and Baltimore?
Yeah.
Where's Washington at? And
They're
Green Bay.
somewhere there. Oh,
and
well,
Minnesota.
Green Bay's further down. Dude, if you look at all the power rankings, Detroit is like 2. You know, I'm giving more love to the Ravens in this situation because the Ravens, to me, I think are on par. I think it's those 3 teams. Then you have a little bit of drop-off, and you have like Washington, teams like that. And then you get your... You know, I put Washington close to Green Bay. But Green Bay hasn't looked exceptional. You know, I'd put them with Minnesota.
Other than the last 2 weeks, we haven't looked exceptional.
Yeah.
But, the other Monday game here, really quick, I'll take the Cardinals. They'll bounce back over Harbaugh.
Same thing here. Yeah, I think the Cardinals will have a bounce back week. I don't know the status of Marvin Harrison. That'd be something interesting. I got to look up and see if he's going to be good because I know he exited the game. Even without him, I think they are a better team. So I'll take the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. And I think it's the last week before Call of Duty comes out. So you got to get your picks in on Kyler Murray now.
Bet on them now.
Trade Kyler Murray in your fantasy league after Call of Duty comes out. Yes.
And one more random high school game this week. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I didn't put anything for you.
I'm not prepared for that.
When we come back, Jackson Rec Department youth football highlights coming up, and Gaylord Lumen Christi will look ahead to Week 8. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. We'll see how close our picks are after this week because we only differed on like 2 different games.
I know. I got to be right. I got to be right on these just to get it close. I would love for it to just be tied at one point. That would be so cool if we could get this tied.
How would we do the tiebreaker if we tied after the first round of the high school playoffs?
It's a good question.
Like at the very end of the year, we tied.
We'll have to come up with something. I mean, of course, I would say we should just do a Madden game as a tiebreaker, but no.
Well, I know what happened last time, and I know what's going to happen again.
Great Christmas special. No, we'll figure out something. I don't want to do something as simple as a coin toss. We'll have to. You know what we could do? We could do Lions Packers whenever they play. Could be the tiebreaker. If you love your Packers.
After that.
Yeah. Because they must face each other after, like, towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we could always do that too. So there's options.
But before we talk about Gaylord at Lumen Christi, of course, I mentioned earlier, thanks to everybody who makes it possible at the city and the Jackson Rec Department. You got a chance to go out and shoot highlights at the youth football.
Yeah, that's always fun. Get to do that every Saturday after we do football on Friday night. So it's a fun little thing. And yeah, I think Noah put together a clip for us here.
Yeah, the Eagles and the Vikings. Let's take a look. So thanks to our own Noah Baker, and of course thanks to Adam for covering the youth football. You can watch highlights again from past games too, and more coming up online at JTV.tv. Subscribe to your favorite school too, again, while you're at it. Week 8, one more time, Friday night, 6:45, Gaylord at Lumen Christi. Of course, Gaylord 2-5, but they're the only team that beat Lumen last year, and I haven't looked too much yet as to like if it's mostly the same players as last year that are back this year. So I was gonna say, does Gaylord still have a little bit of that juju from last year? Like, do they know how they can come out and beat Lumen Christi like last year? I don't know.
I think of more of it's putting a chip on Lumen Christi's shoulder. It's like, hey, this team beat us, and they're going to play them a lot closer than, maybe they would. I know Lumen always comes out and respects their opponent and plays well, but I think this one is personal this week. So that's why I think it's going to could be a beatdown. Right.
Because normally they don't, beat down and maul teams.
Yeah, we
like
talked about that earlier.
50-something to nothing.
Yeah.
It's a formidable 35-0 running clock win. But it should be a good time thanks to Minuteman Sewer and Drain. We may get a Minuteman appearance on Friday.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to break any bad news, but thanks to the Insurance Circle, Tri-County Water, Minuteman, Pataki, that's Adam, I'm David. Go Pack and go Blue, and we will see you on Monday.
Go Lions.
Everybody, welcome to today's show here on JTV, and thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency and enjoying Tri-County Water today too, so thank you to them. I'm David Rice. That's Adam. Hello, Adam.
Happy Hump Day.
It's Hump Day.
It's Hump Day.
And it's cold though.
I'm very cold today.
Yeah. You thought it was bad being warm in here, but now it's it's cold out.
Yeah,
so.
it is.
And now it's starting to get really cold for all the girls' golf at the end of the year. That's bad golf weather.
Oh, yeah.
To me, at least, I'm a fair weather person.
Yeah, I like the colder weather, but still, sometimes a little too cold.
And then we've got soccer. We've got soccer and football, really, on today's show. So we'll start out with that. High school soccer playoffs. Western on Monday at Harper Creek over Jackson High, 1-0. Jay High was actually number 10 in the state for boys soccer, and Western was unranked and beat Jay High 1-0. So they will play Coldwater tonight, Wednesday, in the district championship. We have photos from Western Jay High on our website, thanks to JTV's Henry Black, JTV.tv. And Jackson Christian beat Lumen. We'll have highlights in a few minutes later in the show. But Jackson Christian beat Lumen 4-1, and they will play against Ann Arbor Central Academy tomorrow, Thursday, at 6:30. 4:30, not 6:30. Myself and Noah Baker will both be there at Jackson Christian tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And Columbia Central beat Grass Lake 2 in their district on Monday, 1-0. So they will play in the district championship tonight too, Wednesday, at Lansing Catholic. So for all the soccer scores and all the brackets, you can go to jtv.tv, MHSAA website, and they have all the info on there. Girls golf state finals happen too. We have 3 individuals who qualified for states. I didn't know this until yesterday. I was told if your whole team qualifies for states, you also can't play in the finals individually too. Because there were a few individual golfers, like from Columbia. I was like, they're the best golfers in the state. But I was told you can't, if your team qualified, you can't play individual qualifying
that's so weird.
too.
Oh, that's weird.
Which I guess would make sense because they're both on the same, day.
Oh, yeah. So you can only do one. Okay. They should change that up.
But I don't know if they'd be able to have 4 days of, finals, so to do both, but
It'd be cool.
right. So we have one individual qualifier in Division III state final from Western, D4 individual from Napoleon and Michigan Center, and 3 teams qualified in all 3 D4. Lumen looking to add another banner into their gym. They're going to run out of room eventually. Even Jesse Brown said that. He's tired of getting all the way up there on the ladder. That'd be pretty scary once you get all the way up there with the ladder.
Hey, when I go on top of that press box, or not the press box, the top of the stands, that's terrifying enough. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine being all the way up there.
Columbia, Concord, and Lumen all team qualifiers for golf in D4. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, is the state finals. D3, Western individual qualifier, that's in Battle Creek, and then everybody else qualified here in the area, D4, playing at MSU, Friday, Saturday, Forest Acres West. So we'll have golf pictures and soccer pictures, video highlights, and I'll have a story from Jackson Christian tomorrow online at jtv.tv, and you know what, you can subscribe to your favorite school, too, for free. You know what? We're not behind a paywall.
That's right.
Like some people.
That's right. Have you subscribed to Grass Lake?
I have. I get an email every week at I got mine yesterday. Yeah, at Tuesday at I think 8 a.m. But each week you get a newsletter email sent to you, and it'll have everything that Grass Lake participated in with JTV Sports in the last week and sent to you. So
yeah, or whatever team you want,
or whatever.
Lumen Christi, J High, all those schools.
Andy said he subscribed to all of them,
so he's gonna get an email to every single one of them.
He'll get 20 emails.
Oh my gosh.
For our 20 schools. But you can subscribe for free at jtv.tv. The only place left in the whole region where we're not behind a paywall.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Thanks to everybody here who made that happen. I like that new feature, the subscribe.
That's really cool. I know David Barker was working hard on it, so glad he got that done.
Shout out David Barker. So speaking of the soccer, we'll have highlights coming up in a few minutes, and then we'll make our game picks. It's still close.
Oh, man, it's going to come down to the wire.
Week 8.
Yeah, it is.
Also, we'll talk about Morgan Wallen on a sports show.
I'm curious what this is. You didn't tell me what it was, but you said we'd be bringing up.
I wanted to wait till we were on the show. So we'll make our game picks, including college and NFL, and then we'll show youth football highlights, too, at the end of the show. I know you went to youth football.
Yeah, rec football on Saturday mornings now. So
we got the rec from there. Bowl coming up on the 30th.
And I'm pretty sure, is that going to be live?
Yep.
You're going to be doing that live? That's awesome.
We will be live.
It's going to be fun.
So we will, we may or may not see you that Wednesday night here, but you'll still see me. We'll be doing the Rec Bowl. I think I'll be doing it with the supervisor.
Yeah, all right.
But it's always cool, and shout out to the city of Jackson and the city, and the Jackson Rec Department. They do an awesome job there and keeping those programs running. And it's always cool, covering the future football players in our area.
I always have fun.
Yeah, in the rec department. So we'll have youth football highlights coming up, and we'll break down a little bit more at the end of the show. Gaylord at Lumen this Friday here on JTV from Minuteman Sewer and Drain. So it's going to be a good show. When we come back, we'll take you out to Jackson Christian as they took on Lumen Christi Tuesday night boys soccer district semifinal. Soccer highlights are on the way.